Hey everyone, how's it going? This is the Gadget Guru. Okay, this is going to be a profile on my new burn deck I'm running. I've been playtesting this deck a lot lately. It's really freaking retarded and really freaking funny. It is fast at times, it is slow at times, so I mean, it's not the best of decks, but it's a fun deck to play. So, I mean, if you want to piss your opponent off, this is definitely the way to go, because this deck will make them, like, rage. Um, First of all, you get the monsters, 3 Stealth Bird, flip to 1,000, standard burn. This is one of the heart cards of the deck, Wormlinks. During each end phase, you draw a card if it's face up. So, I mean, literally, like, my end phase, I draw a card. Their end phase, I draw a card. My end phase, like, you'll just have infinite cards. Like, it's retarded. Um, Nextly, Solar Flare obviously does 500 per turn, and they have to attack him, or they cannot attack him if you control a fire. So if you control 2 solar flares, it's a lock. So I mean that's just ridiculous. So 3 solar flares is just 500, 500, 500. Volcanic Slicer is the same thing. He just inflicts 500 and he can't attack that turn, which you don't want to attack anyway. So you just sit there 500, 500, 500. Like these guys are like instrumental for this deck because it's 500 every turn, and when you get 2 of them out, it's 1,000 every turn. So it's ridiculous. Lava Golem, get rid of their big stupid monsters, XYZ monsters, whatever they have. Get rid of them, sack them off for a Lava Golem, make them take 1,000 damage per turn. Really broken. Seeker Barrel, do some massive damage to them. A lot of people tend to have really big fields and really big hands against this deck because they don't really play anything. So I mean, they always just like draw end, so you can Seeker Barrel for like 2-3k. Um, Level Limit Area B, it works really good against anything but XYZs. I mean, yeah, XYZs get around it, but what do XYZs not get around for stall? So yeah, I mean, just messes over XYZs and says, or does not mess over XYZs, but everything else it says GTFO. 2 Swords, just an amazing card. It stops everything. It just says screw you. It doesn't care what it is. So I mean, it just says no. That's the whole point. And then the 3 Nightmare Steel Cage are the same thing. Just says no. So I mean, it doesn't matter if you have an XYZ or not. When you play that card, they can't attack. Period. Chain Energy punishes your opponent for every card they play. 500, 500, 500 with all your other burn. It takes their life points down faster than they realize. A lot of people die from this card and they don't realize it because they're like, wait, how did I lose that much life points? Chain Energy. You played this, you played this, you played this, you played this. It kills you really fast. Dark Bride, protect from Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Torrential Tribute, God knows what else. I mean, just protects you straight up. Saves your ass. Gravity Bind is back to 3 this format. Hell yes, I love that. 3 Gravity Bind is epic. Just stop everything. They can't do shit against it. Starlight Road, stop all the massive destruction, and if you want a free Stardust Dragon, go for it. I mean, I really don't do it. Like, I mean, maybe if I wanted to beat her, but I don't get Stardust too much. I mean, sometimes I do, but sometimes I really don't. But either way, it can stop stuff like Torrential, Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Black Rose Dragon. I mean, you just say no. GTFO. What are you doing? Duality, search through your options faster. Get your stall cards. Get your burn cards. Get in there. Do some damage, and really doesn't affect you because you can't spell summon. This deck doesn't run spell summon. It doesn't even run Monster Reborn for fuck's sake. The only spell summon you run is Lava Golem, and maybe you can't Lava Golem when you Pod Duality. Whoop de do. I mean, nothing really big. And last one, Solemn Judgment. Just negate anything in their face. Overall, the deck is quite fast. Like, it is quite fast. Like, I will admit, like, people don't see this deck coming and they don't know how to play against it. Yeah, MST being a 3 is annoying. I will give you that because then they MST your swords or your level limit or your gravity bind, or they MST all your crap, which is annoying. But to be honest, 99% of the time they're going to MST that Chain Energy because they fear it like a motherfucker, and they really should. I mean, Chain Energy is the bane of this deck. Like, when you draw 2 of this in your opening hand, oh, game over, dude. They just lose. Like, I was playing against someone earlier. I drew Stealth Bird, Double Chain Energy, Nightmare Steel Cage, Seeker Barrel, and I think Duality. And I went play Duality, revealed the top 3. I added Wormlinks. And I went set Wormlinks, activate Nightmare Steel Cage, and then activate set Seeker Barrel, activate Double Chain Energy, and I ended. And they drew, and they looked at Chain Energy, and they're like, so every time I play a card, I lose 1,000. I'm like, yeah. They're like, and they're looking at their hand like, what the fuck? Because they really don't know what to do. And like, he summoned Earth, searched Venus, because I was playing against an agent deck, and he summoned Earth, searched Venus, and just ended. And that was 1,000 off his life. So I'm like, okay, so I drew, and I'm like, okay, I'll flip Wormlinks. He's like, what the hell does that do? I'm like, every end phase I get to draw a card. He's like, every end phase? I'm like, yeah, yours and mine. He's like, what the? I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit broken. So I ended, and Oh no, I set Stealth Spirit, so I took 1,000. I set Stealth Spirit and I ended. So I drew a card. He goes, and now he's looking at his hand just like, oh shit, what? He just like he does not know what to do. Like the look on his face was, or the look on his face, because I was playing this like in real life. The look on his face was priceless, and he's just like, activate MST on Chain Energy. I'll take 1,000. I'm like, okay. He's like, set one. I'll take 500. I'm like, okay. He's like, your turn. I drew. I'm like, okay. Nightmare Steel Cage is gone. I drew a card in his end phase also. And I'm like, okay, Nightmare Steel Cage is gone. He's like, okay. I'm like, flip Stealth Bird for a grand to you. Flip it back down. He's like, don't you take damage from Chain Energy? No, it's only when it played from hand. He's like, what? So he really hated. He was really hating Chain Energy. And of course, I drew Gravity Bind, so I set Gravity Bind. And like in like 2 or 3 turns, I dropped him to like 1,000 life points. He just scooped. Like there was no point. I mean, this deck is so brutal. Like they don't see it coming, and when you don't see it coming, it just kills you. And the Wormlinks is the worst. Like the Wormlinks is the worst card in this deck because it's just I draw, I draw, I draw. You get 3 draws basically every turn because you get your end phase, their end phase, and your draw phase. That's 3 cards per turn. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, there's nothing they can do against that. So, you know, this deck overall is fast, it's fun, and it kicks ass. It really does. Some people do run different kind of, like, I will be posting an updated list of my chain burn, because I know a lot of people love that when I posted it before, but this is the current stall burn I'm running, and this stall burn works nice. So, if you people like burn decks, build this up and kick people's ass at your locals, because this thing is awesome. Is it in playtesting? It hasn't had very many issues. A Royal Decree here and there hurt it a little bit. I still have my stall card, so it wasn't that bad. I think I lost 2 games out of 12 in playtesting, so I mean it's not bad. It's pretty good. They just don't see it coming, and that's really what I think you need to do. When you build a deck, don't build it based on what everyone else builds it. Build it your own way, so they don't see it coming, and build something unique, which is what this is. So. You know, this is just another deck profile that I'm messing with. I've got so many decks. I'll try and keep you guys updated on each deck, but I make no promises because I have so many fun decks. So this is the Gadget Guru, and I will catch y'all.